keep striving for this religion that we preach. Keep pushing for nothing's ever out of reach. Because the time we keep on driving, it's all that much we go. The time we keep on fighting, and these colors I wear will be sold through the skins of my soul.
And welcome to an edition of the Luton Town International Podcast. Apparently, at least the not the top four, so we've got to be fifth or sixth in the Luton Town stuff because we don't make the top four because our social media presence is enough. Actually, to be fair, we've not recorded one for since last season. So, I mean, with this exciting close season we've had, why on earth would we? How have we missed out on all the stuff to talk about?
It's just been non-stop like stuff from the club, and like every time we went to record, something else would come out, and we just thought to ourselves, you know what, we might as well just wait until everything's done. You know,
well, why aren't you wearing the Hawaiian shirts?
I am buying one of them Hawaiian shirts. Just I'm not buying the shorts. I'm not going to go full kit wanker here, but I'm definitely buying one of the shirts. They are the coolest thing ever.
And this was a marketing presentation on behalf of the Luton Town Club Shop Hawaiian shirts in August. Well, we still have about a month of summer left.
Right, awesome. But hey,
I'm a PR person.
Before we get into all the Luton Town stuff, Nick, I do have a couple of questions for you. Actually, one question in particular for you.
Okay.
Is it home yet?
What?
Is it home yet? Football, is it home yet?
It's always been home. We just kind of
No,
go around. I can't believe I've got an Irishman trying to troll us back-to-back European Championships. So, how does Ireland do?
Hey, if you don't have a horse in the race, you can't win, right?
Yeah, but your horse, no, you have a horse in the race, it just pulls up lane before it gets the start line. Every time. At least ours gets the finish line.
Yours got shot right at the finish line, though.
It's getting through there.
Which let's face it, if you're watching a horse race, you're not worried. Like, the entertainment isn't on the horses that aren't there; it's on the horses that are there. And when a horse gets shot right at the final hurdle, that's entertainment.
Well, all I can say is I'm glad we made it to the final again to extend your summer, because let's face it, without that, you wouldn't have had anything to pay attention to. No, I would say you're part Scottish, but they at least qualified. They did badly, but at least semi-qualified.
No, don't put me in with the Scots. No, I know too many weird Scots.
No, I said the Scots, actually, so I won't put them in the Scots because they managed to qualify. When was the last time Ireland actually qualified?
We've got the dentist now. It's all about to turn around. The dentist is gonna turn everything around.
Okay, so you're now just the dentist is gonna turn stuff around. What's he gonna do? Drill a hole through the team?
I don't know. He probably wouldn't be a bad idea, in fairness, with yours team. But hey, we're missing the point here. Is football home yet?
It came home in 1966. We invented the fact.
Oh, yeah. 1966. We're still banging on about that.
Hey, all I can say is we've had last 4 tournaments. We've had a semi-final, 2 final appearances, a quarter-final appearance. It will come at some point, possibly or possibly not. But hey, at least
congratulations. What have you won? Congratulations, what have you won?
Oh,
you've won the exact same amount of trophies as Ireland have in that amount of time.
What, the last 4 years? Yeah, but we have at least qualified for 4 of the tournaments as well.
Doesn't matter, you've still won the exact same amount. No one remembers the losers. Well, I will in this case.
Apparently you do, because I was actually not even thinking about it coming to the season. It's the first question you brought up, so therefore... The bitter Irish in America remembers the losers, and they just thank God it hadn't won, because I'm sure if we'd won, you would not be mentioning it at all.
I honestly, like, when Spain scored that second goal, oh my God, the relief and the joy was just immense. It was like Luton being promoted all over again.
How sad is that? Let's have a look at how absolutely sad is that. You said you've got the same amount of joy about relief being, Luton being promoted. You got the same amount of joy as England, a country that's not yours, you don't support.
No, it is.
in a final. That is, most
It
fans
was-
thinking, right, final over, season starts.
It
You're
was just
still hanging
pure
on.
joy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gavin Daly. Every other Celtic fan going.
No, not Celtic. Jesus. But yeah, let's talk about.
Like a Celtic fan, you know that.
That's just because Celtic fans want to be like me. It's not because I want to be like Celtic fans.
Okay.
But let's talk about Luton. Let's talk about Luton.
Oh, okay.
Are you worried at all? You're Mr. Positivity, so like whatever you say, like I'll go with, because you're Mr. Positivity. But
Hey,
are you worried at all?
It's August. You've got to be optimistic. We could do with a fit defender or two, and maybe a fit midfielder or two, maybe a couple of signings. But we've got sort of. It's basically. I mean, the Euro is knocking everything else. It's been sort of everyone's late signing. People know we've got money. We're not going to pay over the odds. I mean, I heard it's been quoted sort of 10 million quid apparently for some Cardiff centre back. I think he's not even a decent international. He's never even
Can't get into the Ireland team. That's how bad he is. He can't get into the
Jesus
Ireland
Christ, you can't even get in the Ireland team.
Can't even get in the Ireland team. That's how bad he is. Nah,
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
he could be decent. Who knows? It's not like we play our best players or anything.
There is that, but I mean, we could. I mean, we do need, because I mean, I think if you look at the team and some sense of ego, our most experienced defender in that back three was Tendon Menge, who only just now takes up a squad space.
And who went off after, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah. So we've got Joe Johnson, obviously, sort of, he's played tournament level under England under 18, so at least he's got that on the Irish players. But it's and then you've got Walters, who we signed from Arsenal. So again, an England youth international. I think he's played a couple of tournaments, but there's no real first team experience in there. So that is concern. Obviously, we've got defenders to come back at some point, but I think Rob wants to sign them. Sort of, everyone's thinking we need a central defender, we need a central midfielder. Priorities. Yeah. But they've got to be the right ones.
Yeah, and there is like the one thing that I've seen come up a lot is if you bring in a defender, once everyone does get fit, then you're not overcrowded. I mean, it's a good problem to have, I guess.
Well, yeah, because we've done basically judging last season and this season, having all those defenders fit, that would be a rarity. Yeah,
I mean, like honest question, how many full seasons has Reece Burke played in his career?
I'm not sure in his career, but he did sort of, he did play in, I think it's 26 matches last season. There's another 4 he was on the bench and didn't come on. These stats came out last night on a different message board. And that was out of a total of 44 matches. So that's kind of, that's 2/3 of a season, which ain't bad.
It ain't bad for Reece Burke because the most appearances he's made in the season is 36. And that was for Hull 5 seasons ago. Other than that, like he's never played a full season, so straight off the bat he's not even at 27, which is a decent age. You got to think he's not playing a full season. So having that extra defender there wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing because, to me, and this is just my point of view, is you don't want to get stuck in a situation where you're playing Joe Johnson regularly.
I thought you were saying sort of the season we should be loading him out because we couldn't play him regularly. Now you're saying we don't be in a situation where we play him regularly.
We don't want. Yeah, exactly. Like you don't want to be in a situation where he is a regular in the team. You don't want that. You absolutely don't want that. You want to loan him out. You want to loan him out so he can get first team football.
He's going to get first team football with us. So it's not making you're not making sense here because you're saying you don't want to be in a situation where sort of he's in our first team, but then you're
he's
saying
not ready
because he won't get first team football. So in a situation with injuries, he's going to be getting first team football. If
everyone's fit, he's not a first team. He's not a first team player. And if shit completely hits the fan and he is a first team player, you've got a very weak backline. I think you're better off. You will be better off loaning him out, and just basically saying he's not part of the squad for this season.
Well, he's under 21. He doesn't form part of the squad anyway.
No, but you know what I mean. He's not. I want to get him out. I want to get him to.
So we've got a problem with centre backs with availability, everything else. At the moment, he's a starting centre back with injuries, and you're saying you want to loan him out.
Yeah,
your logic is
he's not the answer. He's not the like. Here's the thing. Here's the thing for me is Tom Holmes has at least played championship football, albeit it's been at Reading. It's not like it is what it is. You know, Joe Johnson's played no competitive football, really, like very little competitive football. When you put it against Tom Holmes,
games against Premier League,
who has played over 100 games, who has played over 100 games in the Championship, Joe Johnson has very limited experience.
Now, Joe Johnson's 18. By your basis, no, we wouldn't pay anybody under the age of about 25.
If you want to get back up to the Premier League, it wouldn't be a bad idea. You need experience in there. And that's one thing that we don't have in that central defense right now. If you bring in, I would say 2 central defenders who are experienced. And I'm not talking about your 21 to 25-year-olds. I'm talking 25 to 30. Experienced centre halves. That will give you the option then to loan out Joe Johnson and do right by the kid.
Why do you want to loan out Joe Johnson?
Do right by the kid. Because you're doing
Joe Johnson.
Let me finish the sentence. You're doing right by the kid. You're getting them first team football, and you're not just throwing them in the deep end. You know, too many times at Luton, we've thrown a player in the deep end, and it's worked for snippets, and then it's just fucking disappeared. Like, completely off the face of the planet.
Okay.
You know? And
you can give some examples here.
Adam Watkins.
Conference, and he was banging the door and putting through, and he played quite well. But I think obviously football, he had some issues where football wasn't for him. So
Alex Lacey
came in, sort of didn't loan him out onto that one, but he actually went on to have a reasonable career,
decent career at a lower level. What could he have done if we had it done right by him?
Okay, now throw some more examples at me, because you're not going to throw at least a couple back here.
I'm sure you will. James Justin would be the one that I'd look at that we threw in the deep end.
Yeah. And how did that work out?
It worked out decently, but is everyone James Justin?
Okay. So who else we thrown in the deep end at 17, 18, 19 instead of to see if it's how the...
And hasn't made it?
No. Who's an example that comes to someone who we haven't loaned out and we've actually given a chance to?
That has made it.
Yeah.
That's come through our youth system.
You've just given me Adam Watkins as an example. So I mean, we could do this.
Hold on. You give me Adam Watkins. You want me to give you examples of people who haven't made it, who got thrown in the deep end and haven't made it, or have made it.
James, give me examples. Full stop, and I'll chuck a few back at you, and we'll see where we go on that.
Okay, so I've got Alex Lacey, Adam Watkins, going back numerous years, Fodiatis, who ended up being injury prone, I know, but came through the youth system, had a decent spell, and then disappeared. Like, I'm not saying there's lows, but you look at it and you kind of go, let's do right by Joe Johnson. Let's send him let's do what we did with Joe Taylor. Let's send him to a League 2 team or a League 1 team and let him get that experience, let him get that confidence. That's all I'm saying. He's not going to get confidence, Nick, if we're leaking goals constantly next season. Which,
if you trust a player enough to throw him on against Erling Haaland, then you're telling me that
we didn't have an option. We didn't have an option. We didn't have an option. That was it. It was
you had loaned out and sort of had someone else to come there, sort of bring on some. Yeah, tell you what, Paddy, you go to market, whatever.
Oh, Jesus, now you're asking for trouble.
Exactly, that's my point. Now, other players who actually come in, so, when it's right. So you've got Matty Taylor, 17, went to the pre-season, Scrubbernet, regular. Then can we play Ringen? Curtis Davis, 18, 17 actually.
Matty Taylor didn't come through our youth system. He came through Oxford's.
Matty Taylor was basically signed from 15. I think we signed him when he was 15. So still a youth player, still a player who was.
I'd have to look into that one, Nick. I don't.
However, again, we're talking about the age here. So you're telling me that Joe Johnson, 18 or 19, isn't old enough. Matt Taylor's 17. We put him in the team. He ends up actually, going out with the title.
As a wing back in League 2, you pointed out the fact that Watkins was in the conference. Matty Taylor was in League 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matty Taylor wants to play in the Premier League.
But where was he playing with us? League Two. So like,
But you're making no
decide,
sense.
decide, like James Justin, League One. Like, we're in the Championship. We need to stop acting like we're in lower leagues. We're in the Championship. And realistically, like, if we want to go back up to the Premier League again, then we need to, like, this isn't. Joe Johnson should not be getting thrown in the deep end.
What you're telling me is a player should not be playing an 18-year-old in the first team.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if an 18-year-old has gone on loan to a League Two or a League One side and proved himself and did decent there, then yes, I've by all means go and put him in the side. What I'm saying is someone who is untried, untested. No matter what age they are, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, it doesn't matter. They should not be getting put in the first team.
Why not?
Because we're looking to get promoted. Isn't that the aim? Or are we happy with just mid-table?
Okay, he gets put in the first team. He's going to be around the first team squad. Now, we've got a squad limit. So the squad limit, you need players also to make up the numbers as such. Not make up the numbers, but you need the ones who are under 21 because they don't take up a squad space. You also need in your matchday squad some homegrown players or ones that came through the youth team. That's part of the Football League rules. Check them out. And you're telling me that our most promising one, the one who's actually going to play tournament between 19, you're saying loan him out and then put in a player who will never ever play, whereas Joe Johnson will play.
We don't know. Like, if you're talking a fully fit side, do you see Joe Johnson playing?
I will see him on the bench every time because.
Would you see him playing? Do you see him getting any meaningful minutes? Meaningful minutes. I'm not talking about 10 minutes at the end of a cup game. I'm talking meaningful minutes. I'm talking playing against championship level defenders for 60, 70 minutes in a game.
He could well do. I mean, he's a prime.
But do you see it? With a fully fit defense,
We don't have a fully fit defense.
No,
and also
this is what I'm saying. We need to treat it as if we do. We need to have a fully fit defense.
We don't. You want to try and loan this guy out. So, the transfer window.
I'm trying to get to the point where in 2 years' time, I'm trying to get to the point where in 2 years' time, we're not talking about Joe Johnson as in who. We're talking about Joe Johnson as in, oh, that player we sold for 20, 30 million. That's what I want to do. I want to get him out on loan.
League Two will be doing
get him out on League One.
At the moment, he's going to be getting minutes with us.
Get him out on loan. Get him actual 80, 90 full games most weeks, and then bring him back. Yeah, by all means, bring him back.
Or have him on squad and get him minutes as it stands because he's going to get minutes. He's versatile as well.
Okay, so 90 minutes every week in a League One side or 5-10 minutes at the end of a game in your championship side. What is going to develop you better?
Is he going to get 90 minutes in League One? Is he going to get more than 5-10 minutes? He's going to be starting on Monday, pretty much guaranteed.
So that's because we have injury problems. We go back to the same thing again.
Exactly. We have injury problems, and you want to loan out one of the few people who's got there.
So we have injury problems. Now you're talking, we have injury problems in the squad. Burke's back fit. Anderson's back fit. Bell's back fit. We've got Holmes. We've got Mengi. Okay, so all of a sudden you've got 5 fit centre halves.
And we play 3, yeah.
And we play 3. Okay.
And are those 5?
So right now, who are you putting Joe Johnson ahead of? Even if you're making a sub, Mengi, Burke, Anderson, Holmes.
He can also play fullback as well on both sides. Okay,
so again, who you putting him ahead of? Dowdy or Bell?
Oh, so
because here's the thing. Realistically, Amari Bell's a left back.
So the centre backs, you just got 5 centre backs you count him just in case how come down to 4 so you can have him as left back, just so you can try and get Joe Johnson out on loan.
No, you can play Amari Bell in 2 positions. So obviously he's on the bench and he's going to come
Not
in.
Not at the same time he can't.
If he's on the bench and you're looking for an option at left back or centre back, he's going to be your first option. Which means Joe Johnson's not getting minutes. This is what I'm trying to get through to you. He's not getting meaningful minutes as the season goes on.
You're saying loan him out as the season goes on, out of the transfer window, just in case that all our defenders suddenly get fit and stay fit, which they haven't been fit for about a year.
And that's why we need to bring in a defender, which I think we both agree on.
Who's not guaranteed to stay fit either. And you still want to loan out someone
you get someone who's not injury prone. Plus you have that Arsenal kid who can play there. There's once everyone gets to a point where we have a fit defense, I find it hard to pick a spot where Joe Johnson's getting meaningful minutes in any way, shape, or form.
Well, let's see how he does and go from there, shall we? Rather than being in a hurry to loan him out.
Let's just hope that he doesn't do himself any harm in the couple of games that he does play and no one wants him on loan. Because we've dented his confidence so much.
Okay, so what we say about Mengi, who was signed for the future, we weren't going to loan him out, and then he's become a mainstay of our defence.
Mengi's 1 in 1,000. I'm not saying Joe Johnson can't be, but it's highly unlikely. Plus, when Mengi came in, he had experienced defenders beside him. Joe Johnson's going to have Tom Holmes, 23, and Titi Mengi, 21, 22? Mm-hmm. There's no experience in that backline. That's what I'm saying. We need an experienced defender. And if you bring in another, if we bring in another experienced defender, that pushes Joe Johnson even further down the pecking order once everyone is then fit. So why not just get him out on loan and get him game time?
We can't loan him out at the moment. What planet are you on? And also, as I said, we need to have players up to 21s. We need to have homegrown players in the squad every single time on the bench. Zach Nelson's going to be another one who's going to be on the bench quite a lot and be used to getting minutes here and there.
But to me, Joe Johnson has the attributes to be a first-team player. I haven't seen enough of Zach Nelson to say he's going to be a first-team player. Joe Johnson has the attributes to be a first-team player.
An under-18 international. That tells you that's obviously the setup season.
To me, Joe Johnson is a player who I have high expectations for in the future. That's why I want him out on loan. That's why I want him going out and developing. That's
my only situation we're in at the moment.
I don't think we're going to agree on this, Nick.
No, you're not, because you're not.
No, because you're wrong.
Well, we're not going to agree fucking clueless, but I mean that's standard anyway. So this is actually more live than I thought it would be.
See, you were sitting there wondering that we wouldn't have anything to talk about. We spent the first 20 minutes discussing Joe Johnson.
Well, we've only got a couple of signings on there anyway, so.
I don't understand our signings either.
Okay, you don't understand why we've signed a midfielder and a defender.
No, I understand the positions, but I don't like it. To me, it's how do I put this? It's the Luton mentality. It's the reclamation project, you know, and I've heard good things about both players, but from what I've heard from Baptiste is, he was a good player at Brentford. He'd probably still be there if you could stay fit. Don't we have enough of them problems?
Haven't we had players before who haven't been fit? So we've actually got them in there, got them fit, got them playing. Okay, some got injured as well, but can't play that too much. The problem is, if constantly taking gambles. Yeah, but if you're a good player, if you're going to play at the level you're there and you're a good player, the only way we're going to get them is if they have had some injury problems. If they played at the top of their game and played every game and not got injured, they're not going to be available in free transfers and not going to be available in knockdown prices. They're going to be 20, 30, 40 million pound players.
And rightfully so.
We're not going to be playing that level.
But you can also pick up players from the Championship who have shown that they can play at that level and look at potential of, okay, maybe they can play in the Premier League as well. Okay,
so what players are you talking about here?
I would hope the scouting network are better than me.
Yeah,
I'm one guy thousands of miles away. I would hope that the scouting network that Luton have is better than me.
But you look at the prices being sort of, quoted or sort of, banded around. So like Sheaf at Coventry, for example, he's been linked. Their fans are saying 15, 20 million. Now, there's no way in hell we're going to be spending anywhere like that amount on player, is there?
No, but at some point we have to stop being Little Luton.
Right. Okay. You do know how financial fair play works.
No. I get it. I totally understand where you're coming from. But at some point, how many times did we break our transfer record last season? 3, 2, 3.
Well, it kept going up and up. So I mean,
I'm not saying spend 10, 15 million, but at some point you're gonna have to break your transfer record again and again and again and again. It's just it. And I'm not saying do anything stupid where you're putting us into freaking financial
Yeah, we don't want to be a
problems.
Sunderland or anywhere else from that because, and I said, I've seen the argument as well.
But you're looking at parachute payments for this year is what, 41 million?
46, I believe. Yeah,
46, and then we got 100 million from TV rights last year, plus whatever else the club brought in commercially. And then next season is going to be 33 million. Now I know we have a new stadium to pay for, and that's obviously
next season will be back up to 100 million.
That's obviously the priority is the stadium, but like it to me, and I'm not saying the club aren't doing this right, but to me, if you're going to spend money on a player, just make sure that you're spending money on a player who you then think can double that in 2-3 years. So here's what I'm saying. Like, don't look as much at the price tag as what this person can get you in 2-3 years. So if someone turns around and says, oh, we want 10 million for a player, and you look at that player and go, okay, he's 24, 25, 3 years time, we could probably sell him for about 30, 35 million. That's a good investment.
If they develop at the same rate, because I mean, we've had players there. We've not got a great record on record signings. If you
don't start talking about developing players after you've talked about Joe Johnson.
No, you're talking about some doubling, trebling stuff, and saying buy them because in 3 years' time we can sell them for 2-3 times as much.
Yeah.
Now with our record with record signings, so I mean, a couple of years ago,
not great.
Luger made a loss.
Tahith Chong.
Tahith Chong, well, he's actually sort of, he is being sort of, linked and sort of the double there. Ryan Giles, the record signing, sold him at a slight loss, apparently.
And you're always going to get like little things like that. Like, but if you think like, so for instance, this Cardiff defender that we're interested in, I don't know who it is, but let's say we pay 8 million for him, and it doesn't work out, and we sell him for 7 million. It's a loss, but it's a slight loss, but it's a loss. But if it works out and we can sell him in 2 years' time for 21 million, that's the risk you've got to play with when you're the club. You're not going to do anything.
You take that risk in the Premier League. In the Championship, it's thinking you don't want to be sort of, if you've got the money, you don't want to be spending. You do not pay over the odds for a player.
No, you're never going to play over the odds. But the market that it's in, a half decent Championship player is probably going to cost you 10 million. Like, I think the club did really good business last year to pick up Chong for 5 million. Like, really good business. But, like, realistically, with the market going the way it's going, you're looking at 10 million for a decent Championship player who's not Premier League proven. That's just the market you're in. Like, you're going to be able to pick up free transfers here and there, reclamation projects.
You've got financial fair play that's coming in a lot of the time as well. You look, how many big transfers have there been this summer?
Yeah, because clubs are scared.
Clubs are scared of what?
Financial fair play.
Okay. So why would we go out and actually break the mold?
I'm not saying go out and break the mold. I'm just saying, like, realistically, the market has changed to the point where you're going to have to... An average Championship player is going to be about 10 million. It's going to be between the 8 and 10 million mark for a player who's Championship proven, but probably not much more else. You're probably looking at about 8 to 10 million. That's just the market you're in. Now, you can always get reclamation projects like the players that we have got and look to bargain pick and maybe pick out a few gems. But if you're looking at really challenging and looking to push on, that 8 to 10 million for an average Championship player is probably what you're looking at, unfortunately. And I'm not saying the club should do it. I'm just saying that's the market.
Okay, that's the market if you're the selling club. If you're the buying club, you have a look and say, right, this is what we think a player's worth, and you're not paying over that. And it's obviously I wish we'd sign some, but I can understand the club sticking to their guns on that. Plus, there's something else that Rob Edwards came up. So we've got sort of players there, but they need to have to buy in. You don't want players just coming and thinking, I'll go to Luton because they're sort of, they're going to pay me a bit more or whatever. You want a player who believes in long term, not one who's just thinking, right, I'm just going to come here and fill squad space. That's not the way it works.
Yeah.
Basically, with the way we have to have it's the right players we need to sign. not just sign anybody to please the armchair managers out there who's saying, "Why have not signed anybody?"
But that
right squad.
That doesn't necessarily come down to the money spent. Like you could spend 100,000 on a player and have the buy-in or not the buy-in. You could spend 10 million on the player and have the buy-in or not the buy-in. It's just depending on the player, and that's where the club have to do their due diligence. Make sure that they are getting the right player into the club. But whether it's 100,000 or 10 million, I trust the club enough to get the right players in. Obviously this summer there's been a lack of movement, but I trust the club and the people in charge of the club to do the right thing by the club, and to want to get players in that are going to want to be there for the long haul, not just for, as you said, a season or two or whatever it may be. But there's hundreds of thousands of players out there. Like there's got to be players that buy into everything that you want them to buy into. Now, if that player costs 8 million, 10 million, and is going to make your team better, then that's something the club have to look at.
I mean, obviously, it's probably moved past that now, but just giving examples of Gabosho went to France out of contract, so he would have probably cost 8-10 million. He didn't cost him anything because he's out of contract. So that's also something you actually have a look at. So, right, which players are approaching the contract?
Yeah.
Which players are you not going to be paying over the odds for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But honestly, the lack of signings haven't worried me as much as I've seen a meltdown on Twitter with some fans. I think me and you are in the same boat when it comes down to we were probably like one or two players in by the start of the season. My concern is 2 years ago when we went up, we had a lot of players playing to absolute maximum potential. And a lot of them players now are 2 years older, and can they get to that same level and that would be my concern. I think we can.
I wouldn't say we have players playing to maximum potential because a lot of them actually stepped up and proved Premier League players as well.
But I mean, getting up to that Premier League level, like we were playing at that level going into the playoffs. That's my estimate. That's my thinking of it. We're at that level when we're going into the playoffs, and the one or two additions we made to the team last year obviously strengthened us. But my thing is, can those players get to that same level again 2-3 years on? Like Clark's obviously 2 years older, Amari Bell's the wrong side of 30. You
were moaning about experience a minute ago. Now you're moaning he's too experienced.
Huh?
Hang on, Bell. You're moaning about experience about 10 minutes ago. Now you're saying Bell was too experienced.
I'm not saying he's too experienced. I'm saying he's the wrong side of 30.
Okay, now you're just being ageist.
Once you get to 30, once you get past that age, that's when little niggles and little injuries start showing up. So, I mean...
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't want to wait to see some of my players when they get to 30 if little niggles start showing up at 30.
Well, it's just what it is, like that's why a lot of teams, when you get to a certain age, they won't offer you more than a 1 or 2 year contract. It is what it is. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like I'm a big Amari Bell fan. I think he's a fantastic player. I would love him to be fully fit and play the entire season because I think he's important, especially to the team right now. But we have to be also realistic and say that when you pass 30, that's when injuries start to creep up in you a little bit. It tends to take a little bit longer to get over them. You tend to pick them up a little bit easier. It's just is what it is what it is in any sports, like not just football, but any sports.
I consider that not always. I mean, we also had some players who we picked up cheaply because they've been injury prone, who've actually then gone on to be pretty consistent and fully fit.
No, yeah, we have, but we've also picked up players that were injury prone and then stayed injury prone. It's the balance.
I mean, we picked up a winner from Stoke about 3 years ago for about $500,000 because he was injury prone. We wouldn't have got near him otherwise. He's done okay.
We'll see.
I think he played pretty much every match last season, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. No, he didn't. He didn't start the season, did he?
He came on a sub, I think.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you
Yeah,
that
Giles starts the first 4, but
one. But yeah, I mean, like, it's the club has to weigh up the pros and the cons of everything, and then do what they feel is right. And like, as a fan, as I said, I'm never going to doubt the club. I've got feelings on certain things, but I'm never going to try and say they're doing it wrong. They're not. They're doing it right. They're the ones that are there day to day.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to bring in a centre back and a centre midfield as priority. That's what I'd say. We've got 2 squad spaces that stands, and those are 2 we really need.
The centre midfield one has baffled me really, because you've lost Barkley, you lost Berry.
Yeah.
Lokonga went back.
Yeah.
Nakamba's still not fit. And you brought in Baptiste.
Yeah.
And that was it. So there's 4 players there that aren't going to start the season with you, and you brought in 1. Like that's actually a little bit more of a worry than the central defense problem, because you honestly think, like, if by some miracle Reece Burke plays a full season, or like, you know, we get a fully fit defense for the season, we're fine. You know, we're on good grounds. The midfield is like, you don't, like, what options do you have in midfield? You've got Clark, Pelly, and Batista right now. If you say Chong in centre midfield, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
And we've got Chong obviously as well.
Yeah,
so.
No, Chong is not.
No, actually, and ladies and gentlemen, he's just lost his mind. That you'll notice there's absolutely no difference. It's a good job no one watches this, isn't it?
I know you're only doing it to wind me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the midfield one's actually a little bit more baffling in that, you know, you got Pelly, Clark, and Batista, and that's it, really. And as you said, Nelson. So you're really hoping your youngsters step up. Like, you're fucking fingers crossed, praying to whatever deity that you believe in, that, you know, these kids are actually up to standard.
I mean, you could argue, and I think it'll be off. You got McAtee, you could potentially play in the hole there in central midfield as well.
A little bit further forward, though, right?
Yeah, Chong, Townsend. It's not.
If we're playing the way we did last year, then, like, realistically, like, from everything I've heard and the little bits that I've seen, Batiste doesn't seem like a defensive midfielder. He seems like more of a box-to-box guy. So you don't have a defensive midfielder. Until Nakamba's fit, yeah. And then you've got Batista and Pelly, who are box-to-box, high-energy players, and then you got Clark, who's got that little bit of skill to him.
He can do both as well, Clark.
He can do both, but he's definitely probably the more skillful of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
But like, realistically, that's worrying. That's like, okay, maybe we don't need a defender. Maybe we need 2 midfielders.
I'd say we need a defender and a midfielder, and then obviously you're going to have some players who can actually move forward, some who can move backwards. But I think you need that, because the defender, as I said, Mengi, most experienced defender we played, so, you know, on Saturday went off injured. Midfield, we just highlighted there. So those are priorities. Now, beyond that, you're then looking at sort of, you know, moving players out to move players in, if you can get those 2. And I think that's something. There's been lots of rumours around. Obviously, Townsend to Turkey, but he's there. Which I think if he does that, if you can bring some in, like, for example, I know we've been linked with that Palace winger on loan, L somewhere or other. It's you think if you're doing that, you're moving up forwards to bring it forwards. You need to get the defence midfield source first.
Yeah, because I'm not worried about the strike force at all.
Now, I mean, this brings the sort of, you know, a few pieces of, you know, social media meltdowns. There's, you know, obviously been some rumoured exits, permanent or loan, for McAtee and Taylor. Now, McAtee's not been involved in a lot in the squad. I saw somewhere saying Luton made him available to transfer. That's not been confirmed, but you can see a lot of people interested. Now, what would you say on McAtee? Would you? I mean, I've not really seen him. Obviously, it's a category thing. Would you be that upset if he left, got a fee, or on loan? Or
I honestly, like, I watched a bit of him last season with Barnsley. He's a good player. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a good player. To me, there's roadblocks in his way, and You've got to weigh out them roadblocks. Like if I'm his agent, I'm telling him force a move, get out. Like I can get you somewhere you can play first team football. If I'm Luton, I'm saying stick around till January, because realistically, if we're in a situation in January where we're 10th, 11th in the league and mathematically can still make the playoffs, but doesn't look likely, Adebayo is probably going to leave. Morris maybe as well, and then that's your chance. If you're McAtee and Taylor, that's your chance.
So what you're saying is hang around and hope the club fails. Hopefully that's not the manager's thinking.
It's not it. Even if we don't fail, let's say we're in 6th, and Adebayo's had a fantastic season, and a Premier League team comes knocking, a mid-table Premier League team. I'm not talking about like your Ipswiches or whatever. I'm talking about a mid-table, like guaranteed mid-table Premier League team comes in for Adebayo.
So what we're
more than likely he's off. At that point, then McAtee and Taylor have a chance.
You're now saying basically if the strikers were going to start the season with have a good season, we'll sell them in January with a shot of promotion to give us. Again, you're not making sense.
But here's the thing, Nick. You know as well as I do. If someone comes in with a £25 million offer for Adebayo, are you turning it down with the off chance that you might get into the Premier League through the playoffs?
No.
You're turning it down?
No. If you're coming with 25 million, then of course you're selling.
Yeah, you're not turning it down. Like if Adebayo goes out this year and hits 20-something goals, 25 goals, and he's probably off in January. Like,
but I mean, if you're McAtee, it's thinking trying to tell him to hang around just in case we're up there, just in case Elijah gets 20 goals, just in case we say then your chance comes. That's not really selling.
Yeah, and I get where you're coming from. That's the hard part for the club. Is that having like convincing him that look, your long-term future is here. That's the hard part, and that's for the club to do. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here crying my eyes out if he left. But at the same point, like, if we lose Adebayo, if we lose Morris, you like in an area of the pitch where we look extremely strong right now, you start to get a little bit thinner. Just a little bit.
But we're not there at the moment. I mean, this is also Joe Taylor's been sort of, rumours a loan to one of the clubs. Can't remember which one it was. It was
Huddersfield, I think, wasn't it? Huddersfield or something?
Yeah, Huddersfield, sorry. So, I mean, presuming that's a loan. I think a loan would probably make sense. People saying, why are we not giving him a chance? But I had to look at this thinking, right, so there's a chance there. And this is where, despite me disagreeing on Joe Johnson, I'd say, right.
Oh, we're going to backtrack. Here we go.
Yeah, we're not backtracking.
Clip this.
We're not backtracking because we've got cover in this position. And it's for now. Yeah.
But then you loan him out, and then Morris gets injured, and Adebayo gets injured, and Brown gets injured, and Chong gets injured, and Woodrow gets injured. And what do you do then? He's out on loan. You can't, like, what do you do?
I wouldn't say I would loan him out. I'm not calling to be loaned out. I'm saying if he loaned out, I can see why potentially he would be. There's a difference. You were calling for Johnson to be loaned out.
I stand by that. I would loan him out. Just to get him the games like that. Like, but
with Taylor, so the club thinking, I can imagine if they did loan him out, would be so if we're playing a front three, which effectively it looks like we're going. So ahead of him, you've got Morris, you've got Adebayo, you've got Woodrow, and we'll get him in a second because some interesting stats came out on last night. You've got Chong, you've got Townsend, you've got Brown, you've got Benny.
So that's like, I know you want to get to Woodrow, but just touching on like that Benny real quick. Where do you see him this season? Is he still just a utility player, like wherever you need him kind of thing, or do you see him in a specific position? That's your position, unless we get the injury fucking death plague like we did last year.
I think his probably best position is the kind of wide in a front three with a pace. He can equally do it at fullback. So I think I wouldn't call him a utility player because utility players normally means you're not good enough to hold out down a position. I think he probably is, despite the fact he plays for Ireland.
You had to say something nice about an Irish player. Oh.
Well, to be fair, I mean, he was sort of, he is Irish by sort of, I moved here.
He's Irish.
Yeah.
He's Irish. He's
Okay.
Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Irish. Yeah, because like I'm get ready to be shocked, Nick. I'm in agreement. I see him best position wide right of a front three. I think Taylor, and I know you want to get on to Woodrow. I think Taylor, if he shows enough, could get in ahead of everyone that you mentioned, bar Adebayo and Morris. If he did enough, if he was just absolutely like, I can't drop this kid sort of performances, I think he could get in ahead of everyone bar Morris and Adebayo. I think those two have cemented those two places, and then that third one's just kind of up for grabs or whoever takes it.
Which
Right now, it's probably going to be Chong.
Yeah. Through the middle.
Through the middle. Who through the middle? Chong through the middle?
Well, yeah, just because you disagree with that.
Jesus. Fucking gust of wind to blow him over.
But no.
Well, I'll let you get on to Woodrow.
Okay. Now, Woodrow, I mean, I saw some absolute bellend basically slagging him off, sort of saying, oh, are we relying on Woodrow for number 3? And I think his scoring record's not been great with us. And I looked at some, previously it's about 1 in 3 strikers. So, 1 in 3 striker at this level, it's not too bad. Now, someone actually looked at his minutes played. He actually is a 1 in 3 striker for us.
He'd be a player that I'd be interested to see if maybe they try to offload. Because you just said he'd be on decent wages.
Yeah, because I think that's the other thing. A lot of people think we've got this money burning hole in our pocket. We gave a lot of players pay rise last season. Now they're not all saying let me leave, so presumably there's not many pay cuts in that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there are, they're relatively minimal.
Yeah.
So they're going to be on some fairly decent wages. It's fine. It's according to the Premier League. Parachute payments are there to basically absorb that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not there to basically let me try and buy the league ahead of everybody else. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, no, and like speaking of the league, like I've seen a couple of different outlets now say they have Luton in their top 3, and I could definitely see it happening, but I could also definitely see it going the other way.
What, relegation?
Not relegation, but like mid-table.
Well, that's half the other way, isn't it?
Half the other way. Sorry, half the other way. Like 10th, 11th. I could totally like.
It's a championship that could happen with everybody.
Yeah,
Can't
it? Yeah. It really can, and like that's one of the reasons why I think you need a little bit more experience in the defense. Like that's the part that worries me. I think for me is, do you want to get promoted back up? Or are you happy just being in the championship for a season or two and then pushing again?
You want to get promoted back up, ideally.
That's
the manager does, the players do.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the way I'm thinking is I want to get promoted back to the Premier League, and I know there was all this crap from Luton fans of we like it better in the championship anyway. Like
it is more fun than championships. To be fair, you've got a better chance of getting a ticket.
It's not going to be more fun. It's not going to be more fun for me trying to organize fucking podcasts this season because the championship play a lot of games on a Tuesday, and fucking Nick here is very superstitious, so that could be out the window.
Okay.
But
so like, what you're saying is there's a reason we should actually look to see what games we play is, what league we're in, so we can do a podcast.
Exactly. Yes. But I want to be in the top league in what is considered the top league in the world. I want Luton to be testing themselves against those teams and getting better every single time we're there. Like I've no like qualms that the first couple of times we get promoted, we're probably coming straight back down. But I also know that with who we have in charge of our club, they're going to do it the right way, and there will come a time where we'll stay in that division, and that's ultimately like that's the aim. That's the aim right now, is to get to the Premier League and stay there.
But in the meantime, this season we can have a fun season, and we get to stuff Watford again.
Don't go fucking jinxing it. Don't go jinxing it.
I didn't say which game.
Don't go jinxing it. I swear to God, if we don't beat Watford this season, I'm fucking clipping that and I'm putting it out there. And I'm just going to be like, it was Nick's fault. You're the fucking superstitious one who won't let us record on a day of a game, who won't let us do this, who won't let us do that, and now you come out with some shit like that, and it's just going like, oh, this is going to be all bad.
I didn't see it as superstition, but now if we don't, it's actually firmly on you, and I'm getting it trampled.
No. It's if we don't beat Watford this season, it's firmly on you. It's firmly on you. You're not getting out of that one.
It's the only thing you're going to be clipping. Are you drinking coffee there? Or are you doing whiskey in your mouth?
You don't want to know.
Nah, probably don't.
I think that's it, Nick.
Right, yeah, I think that's all we've got time
for a podcast that we were sitting here before going, I don't know what we're going to talk about. We went 15 minutes.
We did, because I thought you can make fucking. I didn't realize you can make fucking retard on Jay Johnson. You can hit that.
I just want the kid to develop properly.
There you go. That's your clipping.
Viva España!
Oh, that didn't sound quite right in an Irish accent.
No, it didn't, did it? But I think we should leave it at that. We should just end at me saying Viva España. That's not bad at this level, but you've got to think as well, like, how much is he going to play this year?
Yeah, I mean, he'll build decent wages, so it's so I mean, people aren't going to be taking, but I mean, yeah,